Hello everyone, and welcome to the VRverse episode 20. I've got the stream in front of me this time, so I can actually see what episode it is without needing to double check everything.
Oh no, he can see me.
Yeah, oh no. So this month, we do have a big talking point that we're going to get to later, but obviously we've got a few things I'd like to cover before we go into the main topic of a tweet that caused outrage through the VR community over this month. Well, first of all, these are some little things we did before. And also welcome to the co-host, Dr. Oculus. I didn't hear you then, Doc. Have you turned your mic off?
God damn it. My fantastic, wonderful intro just wasted on deaf ears.
I actually
Hello, folks.
actually heard you knock the mic, and I thought, oh no, he hasn't managed. Then I saw you go to talk. I was like, oh, I hope he hasn't unplugged it.
Yeah, it is I, the Doctor of Oculi. How's it going? Hopefully you're all well and you're doing fantastically. I've been trying to pop the chat out of Twitch, but I don't seem to be able to do it to chat that's not mine. So I'm gonna just leave it.
Yeah, I've just got it in the small box on the side. Still, actually, because I've clicked on there. I just need to bring up my notes for later on. So first of all, there's a few things. Well, one thing we really need to talk about is at the end of last month after the show, Mr. Oculus came down to the lovely place of Middlesbrough on a Saturday, and we went out and checked out Middlesbrough's new entertainment centre that's been open a few months, Level X. They do a few VR things, but we had to go of everything in there. That was VR basically.
We did. It's like I was gonna say we started a trend, but I feel like we didn't post about it publicly. But then I just seem to have seen a million different people playing that VR Time Crisis game we played.
Yeah.
It's probably the whole, I didn't know it existed until I played it, and then I just happened to see it more.
Yeah.
Like when you're shopping for cars and stuff, you don't know those cars exist, and then you see them everywhere once you look into them. So maybe that's the thing, but yeah, that was probably my better experience out of the whole thing, if I was honest.
Yeah.
The Jurassic Park, not Jurassic Park, what was it? King Kong was pretty dope. Was it King Kong or was it Jurassic Park?
It
was definitely King Kong.
Yeah, King Kong, yeah.
Yeah, that was fine, but that was something that, I mean, you take a lot of the, well, I suppose that's for any arcade really. If you take the fact that you're in a moving car, it was very basic. When I was a little kid, I would go to the arcades and they would have graphics that you just cannot produce at home no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I go to the arcade for a very specific style of graphics because the ones I have at home are better.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just me, but yeah, I just kind of get the impression. I'm looking at it, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is a Vive game from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it didn't jump out as being the primo. Like the arcade cabinets used to be so big because that's what it needed to house the massive computer that was running it.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can get those experiences on a laptop and you don't need all the gubbins that goes with it. So
yeah, totally.
But I did enjoy it. It was very short and samey.
Yeah, I felt I was in the same position as you with that VR agent, or whatever it was called. I think that's what it was called. Like, I'd never really seen anything, and then we'd had to go. We didn't really post much, and then GT put a video of him playing one in an arcade, and then was it
PD Dazed?
Everyone just seemed like, look, we found this. I mean,
yeah, everybody was just playing this arcade machine. I was like, oh yeah, we played that a while ago. It was fine. Do you know my big problem with these arcade machines is that I'm an evil cynic. So I'm thinking, if I'm making this game, I absolutely am going to murder you within a level to get you just far enough that you care, but you now need to spend more money.
Yeah.
And so I always have that sort of cynical view to it that you cannot go through it with one token. You have to pay and pay and pay.
Yeah. Which you found out with the King Kong one, is obviously you paid for one level, and you're like, press again to play the second level. Or play again to play the second level. But
yeah, it was. And there was no failure on that. It was just an experience, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. And I've probably paid more for less on Steam, so
yeah,
I'm fine with that. It's fine. And it was the same for the shooter game. Aside from the gun angle being weird, like I don't shoot a gun like this.
Yeah. So for
with
those
my hands in front of my face.
Those haven't seen any clips or anything about this thing. It's using the reverb, wasn't it? Reverb G2, but it's sort of like it's attached to a light gun, but you've got to hold the gun against your face to hold the headset on because it wasn't unstrapped to your head. So it was very
yeah, it was weird like that. But it would be nice if just the headset was on a pivot arm that would fold one way or another.
Yeah.
And then that way, if you were right-handed, you could just switch it to the left-hand side of the gun. And if you're left-handed, you could switch it to the right-hand side of the gun, and you could, just have it off to the side a little bit. But it's not the end of the world. Like it kind of still worked as it was, just down the barrel. But I think if they were to just put a pivoting arm on it, maybe that would be a point of failure, and that would be bad. I guess.
I said it on the day. What made me realize is why aren't old light gun shooters getting VR ports like House of the Dead, Time Crisis, Virtual Cop? Why aren't these just getting? I mean, look at Sega. They're bringing like how many of very bizarre games to it. They give us
Samba de Amigo.
They give us Space Channel 9, Space Channel 5, dancing one. They give us Samba de Amigo.
Sure.
It's like, I mean, there were popular titles on Sega. Like Samba de Amigo was popular, but it's like, yes, we can shake controllers like maracas for Samba de Amigo, but we can also
do that on a
shoot
Switch.
Things. Yeah, it's like they need to really think about House of the Dead, especially. I know I've seen people doing it with virtual desktop on a big screen, but to me, it just needs a proper.
I'm fine with that. I don't need full head tracking. It'd be nice, but I don't need it. Because a lot of the time, these games are focused around
moving forward, aren't you?
Actually be looking in a specific place at a specific time.
Yeah.
So I don't overly need the head tracking. It's just when I played the House of the Dead, and maybe with a little fettling, it'd be better. But when I was playing House of the Dead, I played it at PD's house on his Quest Pro.
Yeah.
I think that's what they call it. Yeah, Quest Pro. I played on that, and it was like you were moving a mouse, and it wasn't where I aimed, I shot. It was I moved a pointer to where I wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a 1-for-1 movement, which was annoying to me, which is why I wouldn't go down that route. But maybe with a little fettling, you could make it 1-to-1. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did also see a random video over the internet. This is a bit tangential, sorry. I saw a video that somebody had got Resident Evil Gun Survivor from the PS1 to render in full 3D.
Right.
And actually use that in VR.
Yeah, because that would work.
Which I'm like, okay, it's a PS1 game, but I mean, if it does it on there, then can we do Time Crisis?
Sort of like a cult classic, in it? Because it was like so weird and.
Yeah, I acquired it through sources, shall we say, and played it, but it was just they would just kept waffling on about some dude called Vincent. I had no idea what was going on, and I'm like, I'll just stick with Resident Evil. It's fine. But yeah, so if you can do it with that, then why not Time Crisis? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So we had as you said, mentioned the King Kong one. That was you're in a car that had wind blowing on you, so it's sort of again it was all hand tracked, so you had to just hit stuff or grab stuff with your hands, and we got some very very amusing clips out of it. It was all. There was me, Doc, and 13, and we're all just...
We're just sat there on this machine like dogs trying to swim. Just, just wafting our hands like idiots. Yeah, that's so fun.
We sort of give like King Kong a new name of Camp Kong, the way we were, like our hands were flapping about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was so good. It was funny though. It was, again, I think it was priced reasonably. I know it was £5 to go, wasn't it really? But
I don't know. That's the way they do it is genius because you spend money on these cards and then it's like, oh, my cards run out. I don't know how much I was paying for stuff. I wouldn't have gone on half of the crap I did if I knew the price.
Yeah.
So yeah, weird.
Yeah, and then we went on. Well, we did a room scale one, which was
Yes.
just zombies.
Strange.
Yeah.
I was shocked by the hardware choices on that one. I really was.
Yeah, we
The
had
headset
Pico
was weird.
Pico 3.
Yeah, Pico Neo 3 for the headset.
Yeah.
Then
Big haptics vest.
the haptic vest of a brand which I will not mention. And no audio at all.
Yeah, so this is my big issue with it. It's like, I mean, they could have just had it playing through the strap. They don't have to put headphones on people.
Anything at all. I would have given them the vest back and be like, just give me headphones. Because don't get me wrong, I dig me some some haptics, but
Yeah.
not over audio.
Sort of walking around. I think at one point I was following zombies and dancing to Son of a Preacher Man because that's what I could hear over the big music system in there.
The music in the arcade was very prominent.
Yeah. But it was just basically like a general Unity type avatar, voxel avatar thing, wasn't it? With zombies, and obviously you had the space to walk around in. So we sort of got an introduction. It was like, oh, you can open other areas, but then we couldn't find them.
Every time
These
I
other
tried, I
doors.
couldn't do.
But then I came to the conclusion of afterwards of it's probably due to the play space size, because if you're opening more areas, you're probably going to walk further because you're going to have to go back and forwards into the different areas. So maybe that's why.
Unless there was a loading screen in between.
Yeah.
Maybe you had to get so far and then it would load.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, very
Yeah, it was a fun experience. Definitely one for the friends and stuff, which I liked. I would probably do it again, I guess. If it's one of those things that I've done it and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. But somebody else would have to be like, oh, should we do this? And I would happily go along with it, but
I think they offer
leave the house.
They offer a few more games done, but I think it's more of a like.
Yeah, there's a dancing game that was there.
It's not like a go out and do it every weekend type thing. It's like when people come.
Not especially compared to like the VR place in the thing, the zero latency.
Yeah.
So zero latency, they have a competitive space where you can actually compete against each other in death matches and things like that. That's the kind of thing you could very happily join a league on and do on a regular basis, weekly, monthly, whatever. But this one, not so much. It was fine.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
And then I brought Dr. Oculus back to the ghetto. The ghetto where Tesco's have the doors locked and you have to beep to get in.
Mate, you say ghetto, but I'm telling you, there's nobody on my street that's got a boat.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's no one on your street that's got a boat that's nowhere any water.
I mean, all right, it was on land.
And it's clamped.
It's still a boat.
And it's clamped.
Like, there's water-based transport.
Yeah. I suppose if we ever have a flood, he's all right. He'll be laughing.
It'd probably sink, to be fair.
Yeah. And I tried out the Tilt 5, which impressed me. Really impressed me. Got lost playing. What was it? What's the kind of the things actually called? Like the micro machines on. Yeah.
Tiny races. I'll look it up while you vamp.
I think it was Tiny Races, wasn't it? I think something like that. But yeah, I just stuck on that, and it was just like one of these ones. It was always like, oh yeah, I'll have one more go. I'll have one more.
And then to top it off, I realized that the person you could hold the Steam Deck and play along with the person on Tilt 5. Since I found that out, I was just like, oh well, damn. Tinker Races is what it was called.
Tinker Races.
Yeah, I've been demoing it all wrong. I could have been carrying people by playing it. Oh wow, there's a night level on that game and everything.
Oh, nice.
Looks dope.
I know we got to the point of unlocking the kitchen, which definitely arced back.
Yeah, everybody
to
always
micro machines.
wants to play Everybody always wants to play a new level. I'm like, this is all I've unlocked. So you allow me to now demo it to more people. That's good.
But yeah, I was impressed. It actually worked a lot better than what I thought it would for the depth in it and stuff. Like, I mean, I tried I bought a HoloLens and sold it not long after because it was terrible.
Yeah, the HoloLens was fine, but it was like a postage stamp with terrible graphics.
Yeah, like when I first put it on, it was like a 45-degree field of view. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was tiny. Nice, but tiny.
Yeah.
Not worth the money.
No. Then there was nothing on it anyway because obviously no one was developing for it.
Yeah, nobody actually bought one or tried to do anything with it.
See, I bought it. It was only ever used for one day when I bought it off a company. They basically bought it to demo something at a conference, and then they were just like, then they put it on eBay, like selling it. Because they'd used it that one day to demo this thing to a client or something, and it was like, you can have it and put it on there.
Yeah. I played it at VR Arcade. They got a HoloLens. I was like, wow, brilliant. And then they brought it to my wedding for people to try as well, which was lovely, but I wouldn't.
Yeah. I could see having its uses in a work environment if, I mean, I suppose people might put up with that sort of field of view, but there was a free app on it where you could, that opticians use, and it lets them like inspect different parts of the eye, and you still couldn't get, when you zoomed it in, you still couldn't get the whole eye on there. You had to like sort of look about. I was like, this how's this gonna work? If like,
yeah, it was fine. It
was fine. And I was worried that was the sort of I think that's why I was so surprised by Tilt 5, because I was thinking that's the sort of experience I was going to get. But with it being obviously projected on that big mat, it's like you don't actually get any sort of that culling and cutting in, which makes it work so much better.
And it trims your eyebrows as well, which is nice.
Keeps your face warm.
Yeah, definitely on those cold nights. Keeps you nice and toasty. I kid, but it's everybody generally seems to be impressed with it.
Yeah.
So, look good for them. They can buy mine. It was I don't hate it. It's just my experience with them is getting better.
Yeah.
We'll say that. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's the thing. I always liken the Tilt 5 to the Oculus Dev Kit 2. The DK2, as far as VR goes, especially compared to now, trash. It's horrible. It's terrible. But it was amazing at the time, and look what it led to.
Yeah.
That's my thing. So yeah, I keep going Tilt 5. You little engine that could the crap out of AR gaming.
Yeah.
And maybe one day you'll get us somewhere.
So, I mean, that's the thing. Apart from just trying different games and stuff, we didn't really do much more, did we?
I got to try out the DPVR.
Oh yeah, you did, yes.
Which was a better than a Rift S experience. I will definitely say that. I honestly, so I know that you have the Vive Pro I.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can completely understand, because I always thought, well, he's got all of these trackers and fingeries and foxtails and stuff. Like, why is he choosing this over the Pro I? I totally get it now. That's probably one of, if not the best designed for PC VR experiences you can buy at the moment.
Yeah. It's like so easy to set up.
Yeah.
So easy to, and
so you connected by a DisplayPort, yeah?
Yeah.
I think I read on the website you can also connect via USB-C. Is that?
I think you have to buy a different wire. I don't know if it goes into the breakout. Like maybe it's why you have a second breakout box. That's
Makes sense.
The only thing that annoys me about it at the moment is, especially now, because I tried Doc's Wooja with the PS5 and things. I realised how much it actually brings. So I started using the B haptics again, and especially now I'm using that because I've got the OG B haptics vest. It's got a massive battery pack on the back, and the breakout box falls perfectly underneath that battery pack. So if I like lend my head down, sometimes it clips and like doesn't let me move.
Right. Yeah.
So my next
Doesn't the,
thing is velcroing it to the head strap, maybe.
I was about to say that. Yeah. Doesn't the B haptics have like a bunch of Velcro pads on it that you could just?
Yeah. Shot some velcro on that and velcro it to the top of the B haptics battery pack on the thing that sticks out for that. I'll fix it. I just can't find my velcro, but I've got some somewhere. If not, I'll have to go and buy some. I've got some. If I don't find it, I'll just call the town and buy some.
Let Kiwi be your savior. Grab those head strap cable management things and slap it to the vest.
Oh yeah, good point. I've got one of those spare on the side, just down on the floor there. That could work.
I love those things, man. I absolutely
Yeah, I could
love
velcro
them.
that little part around the top of the handle you grab on the B haptics and just run the cable through that so it keeps the. That could work. That could work.
Yeah. They say like they hold my the mod mic.
Yeah.
That held my mod mic to every VR headset.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than buying these these magnets and sticking them on all the headsets, just clip it to the strap every single time. Love them things.
Yeah. So going on from the testing of this, the Wuja with the PSVR, let's just get to our main topic. We've actually got a big topic for this one. I should have really had the tweet ready to pop up on the screen somewhere, but I'll just read. I can just read it. Could have been had something ready just to load in to show you the tweet on the screen, but I didn't think about that. So, what's become a big talking point? The biggest talking point, I think, this month in the VR Twitter space is Ryan from IGN put a post out saying, "I massively regret." I'm talking like Jonathan Ross here. I massively regret the $597, including tax, I spent on the PSVR2. I love great VR game experiences, and I was so excited what Sony was doubling down with a truly powerful second-gen headset, but they burnt me. There are no games. It already feels dead, and look at the layer of dust. And he posted a picture of his PSVR with a layer of dust on it. And it sort of caused a big discussion in the VR community. Obviously, a lot of people arced back to the fact he works for IGN, and they don't have such a colourful experience when talking about VR.
Yeah, but it wasn't just him though, was it? There was some responses there which were, not maybe surprising, but the people in the VR community, prominent people in the VR community, mildly agreed.
Yeah. There was some interesting things because I thought there was a bit of like the reaction he got from some people. I was like, even in my response to his tweet, I said I think he just worded it badly, but people need to
Can we call them tweets anymore?
But people need to I do. People need to.
Are they X's?
Yeah, people need to calm down. Because he did get like people got very aggressive towards him, and I was just like, "Oh, wait, just chill out." He's got an opinion. Like, I mean, some people put valid arguments across, but it just seemed like some people just like shout. I was like, "Oh, wait, chill out." Like, you might not agree. It's his opinion, but from my view, I think he just really worded it wrong. Like you said as well, there was some big people in the VR community agreeing, but I think they've also come from the side where I think he should have worded it of they've already played a lot of these games.
Yeah. That's the thing is so there's multiple different ways you can look at it. But if I had just crack on and I'll get into this in a minute.
Yeah. So my response said I think he just worded it wrong. Like if you double-edged, this is my response to him. This is a double-edged sword. If PSVR is your first PSVR2 is your first HMD. The library is impressive, so it can't be shunned. But if you're invested in VR outside of the PlayStation ecosystem, you've likely played a lot of them. And that was my view on it, is if you just say none of these games are out and any company, Valve, HTC, Meta, said we're going to have all these games available on launch day, and those games hadn't been out yet, what a lineup, release lineup.
Yeah. That's the big thing. So Stanley famously said, every comic book is somebody's first comic book.
Yeah.
And I think that absolutely translates to a million different things, up to and including VR headsets. And
Yeah.
I think the PSVR2 is going to be a number of people's first headsets.
Yeah.
I don't think you've gone wrong with that choice.
No.
I think dismissing the catalog of games that the PSVR has because you've played them elsewhere is maybe not the right choice.
No.
Okay, you've not got a library full of PSVR games, but that's only because you've played them elsewhere. And the reality of it is that there are plenty to do on PSVR2.
Yes, there's. I can say as well, like, as someone who's lucky enough to speak to a lot of the developers, is I've played games I maybe wouldn't have bought again, but they've said, "Oh, try the PlayStation version." Okay, and they're the best versions of those games.
This is what I hear from a lot of people: is you're not alone.
So I'm like,
yeah, everybody says that this is the definitive version.
yeah, so you might as well take the chance and even just try them if you've played them before. You might find an even better experience than you've had in the past.
One call out, one big, huge thing that jumps out to me is Zombieland.
Zombieland, yeah.
I look at Zombieland and I'm like, can I get that on the PC? Because I want to play that game. But like you said, I don't necessarily want to buy it a second time. And yeah, the Zombieland is absolutely astonishing looking version of the game that you cannot get anywhere else. So much so that we had a brief conversation earlier, and I would literally call that a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
Because you cannot get that elsewhere.
You can't
can get the game.
Yeah, because they've completely redid all the graphics, everything. Like, they did so much of that, which made it its own game in a way. Like you said, it could be classed as a exclusive. That version is exclusive to PlayStation, and it's the best version of it. So
it's stunning. And part of me thinks, okay, is there some sort of a deal going on where they can't bring this to other platforms, or is it more of a they can't bring this to other platforms? Like the PlayStation is the only place they could do this.
Yeah.
That's my thought. Now, all right, yeah, it may not be the only place, but my first thought is that is it like this because you've got eye tracking, and with eye tracking comes a lot of headroom.
Yeah.
Hardware wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's absolutely a game that's totally worth checking out, and it's as I say, it's a story that keeps going on and on and on. That the Red Matter 2. Yeah. Everybody's like, it's insane on the Quest 2. This is brilliant. It's like, all right, yeah. It's even better on the Pico 4. Wow, okay. PC is amazing. Well, I mean, of course, Master Race. PSVR 2 is the best possible experience you can have with Red Matter 2. Yeah. What they have done there is nothing short of witchcraft. It is insane how great that game looks. I just stood drooling over it for like 2 hours. I don't think I got anywhere in the game. I just drooled for 2 hours. Yeah. It's exquisite. So, I mean, of course, Like top 5. So my top 5, Red Matter 2, definitely in there.
Didn't make mine.
100%.
Got taken out
Wouldn't make your top 5.
Got taken out last minute. Like, well, this hits on this. There's not many games. Like, I struggled to do a top 5 because there was games I was like, I can't leave that out. But I'm like, but I have to. Red Matter was one. For me, outstanding. It really is. I mean, I even said in my reviews, it's the definitive version to play. It's like everything they've done with it is crazy. But I was like, overall experience, would it make? And this is like, I try to take everything into account, and I was like, I can't actually include it. It took me a long time to do this top 5 because I was like, I can't leave that out. And Red Matter was one that lost in the final cut. But it was very difficult to leave it out. Very, very difficult to leave it out.
See, so my top 5 is going to include probably he's probably the only non-exclusive game, I would say, in my top 5.
Ooh, I've got 2 exclusives in my top 5, but they're not in here. They'll probably be in yours, so we'll discuss them then. But Gran Turismo is not in there because I'm not. I mean, you've convinced me I'm going to buy it when it's on the sale. Trying it when you were here.
More like the kind of
it's not your kind of game. It's not that type of game though, and
it's not that it's bad. It's just not for you.
Resi 8's not on there because I've not played a lot of it. I haven't even got into the castle yet on it because I've had that much to do.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay.
It probably would be on there if I'd played enough of it. I mean, I've watched your full series streaming it, and it looks fantastic, and it probably would be there, but I didn't want to include it because I've not played enough of it.
I get that. Yeah.
I thought it'd be harsh knocking a game that I've given all the time to off there for something that I've played an hour of, like an hour max of. Like, it was fantastic for that hour, but like,
I'm exactly the same with Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
I can't justifiably put that on a top 5. There's nothing. I've got it installed. There is nothing that makes me wake up and go, I want to play Horizon today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, do you want to do this now? Do you want to go down top 5s or?
I think we've got probably worth looking at what is available. Like, we don't obviously have to mention every game, but we were looking at exclusives, for example, before we came on. GT7, Horizon, Synapse, Switchback, Resi Village, Sea Smash. Before Your Eyes is a VR exclusive. Zombieland, as we just said, we would class as exclusive because it's the only you can get that version of the game. There's Terrible Transformers game, but that was terrible on PlayStation 4, and I just decided to give it a PlayStation 5 port, like a few upgrades which did nothing, really. But they're exclusives. They can list. They're not bad. GT, Horizon, Synapse, Switchback, Village, Sea Smash. Before the first ones, apart from Thingy, you're not bad exclusive to list, considering it's been out 6 months.
Yeah. It's there are exclusives. What should we say? Because the thing is, name a PSVR exclusive game. I'll wait. Anybody in the chat as well? You want to name a PSVR exclusive? That's totally fine. I'll happily wait for a response to that one. Because I can't. Don't get me wrong. There's some amazing PC VR exclusive games, but I'm pretty sure they're available elsewhere.
We've got Half-Life. That's about it.
Oh yeah, no, there is. There's Half-Life. Well, okay, you've proven me wrong. There is absolutely a PC VR exclusive.
That's about it.
Half-Life.
The one that comes to my mind. The only one.
So there we go. There's that one.
I actually watched before we got on to as well, because this will sort of fall on what we were saying before. About our take on it. Obviously, if it's your first headset, there's loads there. Oh god, but Water Bears, Gunheart, Bozza's gonna shot loads of us. I suppose Jet Island is as well. I suppose
they're not PC exclusives. They're just the only platform they could afford to make them for. That's a difference.
Yeah, we've got
If Drifter could put Gunheart onto a PSVR, I think they would.
Yeah, I think it sort of arcs back to the view of if it's your first headset. I actually watched a video after this tweet. It actually came up and recommended on YouTube. Some guy who's a PlayStation VR is his first PlayStation VR2 is his first ever VR headset, and he was looking at it 6 months later. And he said like a lot of his friends had sold it due to lack of content, and he said he was edging on that, but then Beat Saber came out. I mean, a lot of people love Beat Saber. It's not one of my favourites, but and that made him keep it. But he said he's glad it is because so many good things have come out after Beat Saber. Like he probably wouldn't not been a bit upset that he got rid of it. But then he made a comparison, which is interesting because he said people say there's not the content's not there, and he said the same thing. If you had this list, how many console releases have had this many games available on day of release and had remasters from the last generation in the release date window? He said there's a lot of consoles do it and they don't have this list of games. He said he looks at it and thinks you buy this expensive peripheral the same price as the console nearly. You then look at then you've got to add games. It becomes expensive. But he said over the time of owning the PS5 since the day of release, he's bought 4 games for it. He said he's bought 6 VR games now, and he said the 6 VR games have cost him less than the 4 games he's bought in across the figures. He said I've actually getting more for my money and more games out of this 6 months than I have since having the PlayStation since day of release. So he was making all these points. I thought doing very well. Yeah, exactly. We got this month. We've got Firewall this week.
3 days time, isn't it? It's like the 24th, I think. Firewall.
Yep, 24th. Yeah.
It's 35 quid. 35. Now, in comparison, Call of Duty, if you're lucky, again, it for 50 quid at minimum.
Yeah.
Normally they're about 70. So, yeah, that's a good price. Call of the Mountain was 70 quid, which was steep. So, yeah, with that in mind, I would say that's probably not great value, but it's not a terrible game. It's not on my list for a reason, but yeah, it's not a terrible game.
So you find with that a lot of people have probably bought the bundle with that in.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, well, screw it, I'm going to buy the game anyway, so I'll just buy the bundle. Yeah. I think it was cheaper if you bought the bundle, like it was 60 quid instead of 70.
Yeah.
So I bought it. But the list of pre-existing games that if you are a complete VR noob, you are going to have the time of your life. I mean, think about all of the great games that have been out over the last year on either PSVR, Quest, or PC. You've got your Kayak Mirage. That was one of the launch games that I bought. So my launch titles was Kayak, Horizon, GT7, Resi 8, Cities VR. And I think I had another one. I don't remember what it was. Oh, What the Bat. And I absolutely... Cities VR was a game that I put on for 10 minutes, and 2 hours later I was like, oh shit, my controllers are dead.
Yep.
Like it was that kind of game. I was like, oh, okay. So that totally caught me by surprise. Available on Quest, but this is the best edition of it.
Yep. So this is one I've recently I recently reviewed. I know it came out on day release, but I got around to finally putting time into it, and I thought I'm in the same position as you. I thought I'll put it on, play it for a bit. Just refresh my memory more because I'd played some before, and I thought just refresh my memory more about the mechanics and stuff, and then same thing, come up, your controller's running out, and I'm like, have I really been playing for that long? Then you'd sort of turn around and realise, actually, yeah, I've built a big city behind me, not realise.
Yeah, exactly. It's a much better game than you think it's going to be. It works surprisingly well. So much that I'm like, maybe I should install it on the Quest. I own it on the Quest with every intention of playing it, but I always like Little Cities more. So I never actually played it. But yeah, I think that was a great game.
Yeah.
Big shocker. Not the biggest shock for me was Gran Turismo 7. I knew I would kind of like it, but I really like that game.
Yeah, I mean, we did.
And I said to you, like, play this because you have to play it one time. Just to say that you've played it, even though you're not a driving fan. And one of the things that I love is that the tilting the controller is a perfectly decent, feasible way of controlling the game. You don't have to buy a wheel.
Yeah.
Which I think is brilliant.
Yeah. Like, I didn't realize you could do that until obviously you showed me, and I thought, actually, yeah, it's a good thing. It's actually easy to do as well. I thought this could get fiddly when you told me, but it's actually responsive.
Yeah, it is really responsive. Because the thing is, when you're playing with a stick is quite binary. You're either hard left or hard right or just in the middle. There's no real sort of smooth curve to turning. Whereas if you're twisting a controller, if you're using the gyro in the controller, you can very smoothly take a corner. So serviceably well. It's brilliant. Like most of the time I can't be bothered to get the wheel out. I'll just grab the controller and use that. It's perfect.
I think my perfect example for if you've not played it before is, for me, After the Fall. The amount of hours I've put into After the Fall across Quest, across PC, and I'm doing it again on PlayStation.
You taught me into it.
It's like, if you don't...
You taught me into buying After the Fall. It was on sale recently. It may still be. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll buy it for 12 quid. So I now own it on 3 different platforms.
Yeah. So if you've not played
PC,
that...
Meta, and PlayStation.
The amount of hours you can get out of that is mad. If you take to it. You've got to understand the idea is keep running and get better gear.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But then if that isn't the game for you, there are so many other different sort of kinds of experiences you can have. For example, Release, I want to say. Moss 1 and 2.
Moss 1 and 2.
Wonderfully exquisite story games that you can absolutely play. Not on my top 5.
Not mine.
Because I was trying to stay towards I wanted to get the experiences you couldn't get anywhere else. And while you can have a staring contest with Quill, you can pretty much get a decent experience with Moss anywhere. Literally anywhere with a quest.
There's one that was on my list, and I took it off because I was like, praise this game so much, and it is still that fantastic, but I'm like, anytime I talk about top VR, it's like Moss to everyone. And I thought, you know what, let's try and give it a chunk of stuff.
Yeah, I will always put Moss in like a special place. Indeed, for VR, and I demo wise, because especially people that are trying to get used to their VR legs, I'll always put people in Moss.
Yeah,
always.
So even I made a list of games that are listed on the store at the moment as announced, and a lot of these are due to be out end of the year, early next year. Got Hellsweeper. I know exclusive wise, I've got Firewall. Because, like I said, I did think Crossfire Sierra Squad, but that's on PC VR.
Yeah.
Exclusive wise, at the moment, Firewall is the one I've noticed on the store. The Foglands, I don't know of that.
No.
Oh yeah, Aces of Thunder. That's exclusive, isn't it? The one from By War Tanks people.
That looked good.
I don't know about the Foglands. I don't know if that's exclusive.
I don't think it is. I thought that was on the Meta Showcase.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but I think that was on the Meta Showcase.
Yeah. But even non-exclusives, like you said, if it's your first headset, or maybe you own it as well as PC, and you think, you know what, I want to try that one. There's Hellsweeper, Arizona Sunshine 2, Arashi, Castle of Sins remake.
That's going to be exclusive, isn't it?
I was thinking, will that be exclusive? Because the first one wasn't it? The very original.
Yeah. It's the first one remastered, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be an exclusive, although my list doesn't say that it is. Resi 4?
Resi 4. VR, that's going to be exclusive. I mean, the remake. I mean, I don't even buy it on Quest. like Resi 4 VR on there, but this is the remake, and it's gonna, yeah. If what I've played from Village, if they get Resi 4, which they probably, I mean, they're gonna, because it's basically the same people, it's gonna be an outstanding experience.
It'd be hard to screw it up. Like the engine's there, the knowledge and the technology is there.
Yeah.
So I imagine it is just a matter of shoehorning it into the game now.
Bulletstorm VR, I know that's coming to everything, but again,
Yeah, but it still looks great, and you know it's going to be better on the PlayStation.
Ghostbusters, which is going to come to Quest and PlayStation. I know which one I'll be buying that on.
Yeah.
Madison VR for the horror people.
Is that a dating website for old pervs? What?
Madison VR. It's like it's scientifically been proven to be the scariest horror game, and it's coming to VR.
Okay, is that flat now and coming to VR, or is that also VR currently?
It's flat only at the moment, and it's coming to VR.
Madison VR on Steam coming soon.
Yeah, it's going to come to Steam. Yeah, that's coming to Steam and PlayStation.
I'll bop it on the wish list. It sounds familiar, but I can't place it. Like, I'm sure, is that not out already?
No, the flat one is.
Perp Games have been pushing the crap out of it, right?
Yeah, because they're publishing the normal one, and they're going to be publishing the VR one.
Okay.
There's Vertigo 2 is coming.
Yeah, that is coming out on the PSVR. No dates escape me now.
No, there's no date now.
Yeah. In this month, we've got 3 biggies.
Yeah, we've got.
Me maybe. So, Crossfire and Firewall. Phasmo is coming to consoles this month.
Yeah.
Apparently. Now, Phasmo just pushed a massive update to PC.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder why they didn't push that at the same time as console.
Yeah, because what's interesting, they have actually said it's still on track for an August release. I'm like, well, you've already got this week of PlayStation release games on a Thursday.
Yeah. Like they've
only
not
got
really got many options left.
Because a week after it'll be in September.
So yeah, I am currently skimming the Kinetic Games website to see if they've got any more information about the PSVR version, but I'm not seeing anything.
I mean, they do random drops every now and then, don't they, PlayStation? For example, Green Hell, I know that was still a Thursday, but it was like the day before. They were like, oh, this is coming out.
Yes.
I mean, they messed up and released the trailer like the week before when they released it and then removed it straight away off their YouTube channel.
What better way of getting people searching for content than to put something out and then be like, oh, it was a mistake, and then take it away? Because they'll be like, somebody's got it somewhere. Google. Genius. Can't get away with it too much, but...
Got Wanderer coming next year.
Oh, don't get me started on that, man. That game looks dope. Mm-hmm. And it's already fantastic looking on PC. Mm-hmm. When I saw the PlayStation version, I was just like, should just abandon the PC version and play it then. But I realize I've got enough time to drink away the memories of the PC version. So we'll see.
One that was announced this week, which I've been enjoying playing on PC, Runes Magus, the complete edition, is coming to PlayStation VR next month.
I hear great things about this, but it doesn't. I get the feeling it's not up I'm not the target audience for this. I don't know why. I played the demo. I think. Did I play the demo?
It was on the Next Fest.
Yeah, I think I played the demo.
I've been like playing it on stream every now and then. I love it. I think it might be the next game I might just concentrate on getting through on stream, maybe finish it off, because I do enjoy it when I'm playing it. So yeah, even like the future's bright. Looking forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
so much coming.
Some of them will be on other consoles, on other platforms. Some won't. Yeah. But either way, you can't say there's no games.
No.
Like I said, he might be coming from the view of he doesn't want to double dip or double play games. Maybe he's played them before. But I get that. But it could have worked. I think my issue was, and like I said, I pointed out, he could have worded it better. Really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
there's nothing I want to play. Maybe that would have been a better way of saying it.
yeah.
I
mean, for
there's
someone
plenty.
who works for a game website and writes and things for them, wording is very important. He's years of experience. Wording is very key.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not like he did it to get views, because let's face it, about 20 people went, and that's about it.
Yeah, I heard some people saying, "Oh, it's typical IGN clickbait," but I'm like, he hasn't linked it to any IGN story or anything. I didn't know he worked for IGN until I read people's tweets saying it's IGN clickbait. I was like, "Oh, okay."
I thought he was part of the Kind of Funny crew. I think I either they used to be, or I mixed them up with somebody else. Some of the best responses I got was, I think it was End Dreams that just put cries in Synapse. I was like, oh, that is so funny. Yeah. There is so many games for this. There really is.
Yeah. If you give any console, never mind VR, I'd say, if you give any console that sort of lineup within 6 months, even if it, like I said, they were just doing remasters of last generation games, we've seen the PS4 era was just enhanced editions of games. That's all it was, really. Like every successful and even some unsuccessful games from the last generation of consoles were getting enhanced editions, which were just updating the textures. They weren't even doing anything else with them.
Yeah, if this is your first headset, you've not gone wrong. That's all I'm going to say. Don't feel dismayed. There is so many games I could there are so many damn games. I would tell you to buy Moss. I would tell you to buy Tetris Effect. If you want to play with your friends, Demio. No Man's Sky, you possibly already own the PS4 version. Brilliant. Now you own the PSVR2 version. Like, there is just so many games, and that's just the top of the list, the top of my head.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do with that.
There's so much you can try as well. Like you mentioned there, Tetris Effect. Don't be put off thinking, what's Tetris in VR? Because that's how I felt. And then I tried it at EGX before it came out, and I was like, this is what Tetris needed. It needed this style. It needed this thing building up in front of you, and whales flock just going past you. And I was just like, this is what it needed.
That's another one of those games that I am currently in turmoil over, because I played, I think it was a free weekend on the PSVR, and I played it on the free weekend on the PSVR. I was like, oh, this is why people like Tetris, because this is fantastic. And then I bought it on a disc for the PSVR, and then I got the PC version, and then I got the Quest version. And because I want to spread the good word of VR, I said to my friend, you love physical media and you own a PSVR, you should take this. And now I want it back. Because now I can play it on the PSVR too. I was like, I've got it twice. I don't need it a third time. I want it a third time. So I'm just keeping an eye out for a sale now, a decent priced sale, because I've already spent like £90 on that game.
Yeah, just look at any enhanced game that's on there. Like, I know I don't think you were a very massive fan of Res, but to me, it's a game I paid the upgrade path for. Yeah, I paid the upgrade path for it again to get it on PS5.
I apparently bought the upgrade for Thumper.
Yeah,
I think. But yeah, I should probably pay for the upgrade for Res just to see if it's any better. Fantavision, nobody ever mentions that. I imagine there's a reason, but PlayStation exclusive. There you go. There's another one.
Oh no, I think that's come out on PC now.
Has it? Oh, that's a shame. Humanity. It's another one enhanced. They do great things with the PlayStation or the VR. I really dig them as a developer. They do a lot of things right.
Humanity was on my list, my top 5 list for
I've not played it.
until the very last minute. Like, but just games like this, you know, you might think they don't look right, maybe don't suit VR. Like Humanity, you just basically get a better perspective, I think, like of a view of what you're doing. Does it necessarily need VR? No, but
a little bit biased.
Yeah. One thing you might like about Res, if you do the upgrade path for Res, is you can use PlayStation VR's eye tracking to target things now.
That's one of the reasons why I think it would be a good experience.
Yeah.
It also, so when I played it, I was using the Oculus Quest 1 via link mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had tracking issues. I think there's a video of me and you playing real VR fishing, and my controller just disappears with my rod into the sky, and we're both laughing our ass off. It turns out that I just needed to do a factory reset of it, because once I did a factory reset of it to give to my mother, it's been flawless ever since. So maybe that tainted my experience with Res. So maybe I should go back to it, but who's got time?
So as we mentioned earlier, we've made a top 5. You haven't told each of our top 5 lists, so we're gonna get a surprise. Obviously, if I've got one at 4, which Doc has at 3, we'll only discuss it the once. There's no point discussing it the twice, and vice versa. If it's in a different position on someone's list, obviously we don't really need to discuss it a second time. But what I would say is, don't tell them it. Like, we won't say it's on our list. We'll just then, when we get to that number, say, oh, this was my number. If you know what I mean. So, like, if yours is number 5 and your number 5 say it was my number 1, I don't really want to go, oh, that's my number 1, because it's sort of like messes everything up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So, do you want to start with your number 5?
So, I knew the criteria you would choose, which is if the PSVR was my first headset, what would be good for me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try and be different. So as I say, I wanted to aim for stuff that I could possibly not get on a PC, which means as much as I would love, so like Gran Turismo 7, your Resident Evil 8s and things like that, they are my top 5 VR games. But because I can play them without the headset, they're not on my list.
Ah. Interesting.
But that does mean that other older games do get to go on my list.
Yeah.
So number 5 for me is Pistol Whip. That game, it looks fantastic. I could not experience that in any other place than virtual reality. There's you can't really play that on a flat screen game, and they're just constant. Like even a year, 2 years later, they're still bringing new content, and they are not charging a penny for it. That absolutely needs to be rewarded, acknowledged. I love that they do that. Like if I'm playing a rhythm game, I know you're very synth riders, and sorry to your sponsors, but I'm picking Pistol Whip for my rhythm game of choice over Beat Saber, over Dance Collider, and all the others that are available. Pistol Whip for me, number 5.
Yeah. So Pistol Whip is one I never really give the time to until PlayStation. I have it on the Quest. I have it on Steam. I mean, I've only got it on Steam because it came with Humble Bundle, so it was like a. Actually, no.
I gave mine away.
I gave mine away. Actually,
I gave mine to Clickster.
I gave mine to Pingori because I have it on PC through the cross-buy with the Quest, so I didn't need it on Steam. So yeah, I give mine to and then I got the chance to get a code on PlayStation to review it, and that made me give it more time. I mean, I enjoyed what I'd played on the Quest a bit, but having to review it made me give it more time. And I'm glad it did. Like you said, I still probably wouldn't put it above Synth Riders for me. But I understand why it would be in your top 5 because it is an outstanding rhythm game. It's something that's different. It gives you a hell of a workout when you're ducking and dodging, and the haptic triggers give it more on PlayStation to me. If you're switching
Bowles just
type of pistols.
made a big point there. That he would probably rank Ragnarok above Pistol Whip. Do you know what? I absolutely get that, and that was a very difficult choice I had to make. But I went with Pistol Whip just purely because of the constant updates.
Yeah.
The fact that the devs are supporting it so much. Yeah, that's the only thing that put Pistol Whip. The thing is, Ragnarok has got a modding community, whereas Pistol Whip doesn't really have one. But you shouldn't rely on the likes of your Synth Riders and your Ragnarok and the modding community to keep your game alive. The devs doing that for us.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
Yeah. Like I said, they're pushing constant updates. They're adding campaign. Well, they've added campaign mode, and then they add a new campaign. It's not like they just add a new. They add new scenes that you can play. Like, because that's what the levels are called, scenes, aren't they? Because it's like the idea you're playing a movie scene, shooting things. But then they add new campaigns for free. Like, some of them campaigns are outstanding. I thought, what's this gonna do with a campaign, really? When they said they're announcing the first one.
Yeah.
And I thought, what's this really going to add? But it's a very interesting thing. Bit like, because I think at the time I thought they're just trying to follow Beat Saber's thing, because Beat Saber added the campaign. But Beat Saber's campaign was really just a really long extended tutorial. It pushed you to play the higher modes to move on in the campaign, basically, the higher levels. Where Pistol Whip actually has to tell a story in between.
Yeah.
Which
they do. It actually has a bit of continuity and general sort of logic to it.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand that being on this, and it is a solid big game for people that I will look at.
Yeah. What's your top 5? Your number 5 then?
So my number 5 is one that people might be shocked at because I'm not actually a fan of the actual thing. Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge is my number 5.
Do you know, I hear great things. I do hear great things.
This one was an and ahhing one, but this uses what the PSVR2 offers in the whole package the best to me. It looks beautiful. Haptic triggers are the best in any game I've played. Like how well they're mapped. Obviously you've got
Star Wars.
Yeah, because you get the.
I felt no difference for the different guns.
What in Tales of Galaxy's Edge?
I mean, admittedly, I only played the demo.
Yeah,
I didn't commit to the full game, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
You've got the headset haptics work well. I think just as an overall package. I mean, even with this version, you're getting the DLC, which it desperately needed on release on the Quest, because the actual campaign's like tiny. I think the 2 DLCs put together like double the length of the campaign, the actual first campaign that came with it. So I think it needs that, but you get that with this version.
Yeah.
But it looks beautiful. Like, it's such a nice looking game on the PlayStation. I played through it on Quest. I didn't play any of the DLC on Quest. I just played the standard, like this first campaign. So my first time experiencing DLCs was on the PlayStation. But yeah. It's just when you're in the DLCs where you start moving stones and things open, and it's just an outstanding looking game. And to me, it made my list due to the fact of how well it uses all the technology the PlayStation's put out on the hardware, really. And as a non-Star Wars fan, I even enjoyed the story.
I was gonna say that's actually impressive to hear. If as a non-Star Wars fan you're still digging it, if it has more to it than just the once in time ago in a galaxy far away sort of thing. See, I would class myself as a Star Wars fan. I don't own it on any platform. I just don't. I got burned by Vader Immortal, and I was just like, I'll just leave it. Too many people have been way too negative about this game. I'm just gonna not bother.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I didn't buy it.
I sort of understood the negativity because I bought it when it was just on sale one time, and I was just like, I think Oculus would give me some money back for something. I can't remember what it was. But I complained to him
Oh right,
about
yeah,
some
yeah,
game.
yeah. Was this the Iron Man debacle?
It was, yeah, yeah, and it came on in one of the sales, and I just thought, you know what, I'll try it now. It's on sale. I know it's got a lot of bad things said about it. Like, I didn't really mind the Vader Immortals. There should have been a lot more to them. They were very short for the price. But again, I paid £10 for the set for all three of them when they were on a sale on the Quest. So I didn't
Yeah.
really get burnt for them. They were good for £10. But they did need a lot more content.
£10 I would
Yeah.
say.
But
It's fine.
and I
Probably spent more on.
Yeah, I sort of understood the negativity about it when it first came out because of the length of it. But with the DLCs, you're getting double the length of it really, just on the DLCs.
I'm looking at my top 5 and I'm like, I've done it all wrong. I do so many different ways. I've argued this in my head, and I just there are too many games I would miss out.
Yeah, I could have approached this differently and got a different list. It's like so mad, like there's some I've left out, and I'm like, I can't leave them out, but I'm like, but I need to.
Yeah.
So do you want to do your number 4?
So yeah, yeah, okay. So Pixel Ripped, 1978. Absolutely love that game.
Yep.
I guess you could potentially make a little bit of an argument that you could do that outside of VR, but I think the VR headset is so perfectly fitted to that game that you wouldn't have a good experience. Like, you can play Half-Life Alyx without a VR headset. Doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Pixel Ripped it's always going to have a special place for me. But 1978. All right, yeah, I'm also a little bit biased. But yeah, it's something that you would struggle to sit there and play the game and look around and dodge mom and this, that, and the other. Like, I don't think you could pull that off. Okay, I'm a lot biased, Mr. Bowl. I'm sorry. Well, I do like Pixel Ripped. Genuinely, I do. Like, I'm not into a number 1 and number 2, but I still love those games in VR, and they would be on my list. All right, okay, I'll take Pixel Ripped off. Fine. Number 4 is Red Matter 2 then. Red Matter 2, I would put that on there just because I pulled it out of my arse. But Red Matter 2 is the best experience you're going to get in VR on the PSVR2. So Red Matter 2, sod it. It's amazing. It's glorious. It's stunning. I could spend all day just taking pictures. Now, but all right, so joint 4th place is Pixel Ripped and Red Matter 2. There we go. So they're sharing my 4th spot.
I agree what you said about Pixel Ripped. It maybe could work outside VR, but it wouldn't in the same. Because you need to, like, you've sat there playing a game with the joystick, the Atari joystick on the computer, on a old, like the old. It wouldn't work. It would work. You could maybe have it and like the controls at the bottom of the screen and your hands moving it, but it just doesn't give you the same impact.
Yeah, like you can press the Alt key, move the mouse to look up. Like Five Nights at Freddy's, I guess, is mildly similar-ish. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, no, it's that is one of my absolute favorite games. I've loved the Pixel Rip games. I've completed all of them.
I just feel
completely completion.
I feel with them, it's always a game for me where when they announce the next one, I'm instantly excited.
Oh, mate, I have known about 1978 for about a year, maybe a bit longer. Like I've known about that game for quite some time, because when you get her drunk enough, Anna will tell you anything. So we were sat there playing After the Fall, eating food, getting drunk, and I was like, okay, yeah. And we were chatting, and she's just ridiculously fun to be around and ridiculously charming. But yeah, she would tell us a lot of things that PD and I will take to our deaths.
One thing
We know.
One thing I like about Pixel Ripped as well is, as you mentioned, Anna, she embodies that game.
She's literally a Gamescom dressed as a
Yeah,
doll
yeah,
right now.
yeah. She like it. It shows that it's her love, this game series, because
If you ever get chance, totally go and meet Anna Ribeiro from Pixel Ripped.
Mhm.
Totally do it.
So yeah,
Like walk through fire to meet her. She's amazing.
I was about to say, sorry, I'm moving around weird. There's a fly flying at my head, but I don't even have a camera on,
It's
so
all,
I don't know.
I've just noticed the green screen's picking out headphones in the background, and it's driving me insane.
So
Sorry. Anyway, your 4.
So my number 4, Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm like massively invested in the Horizon series. The flat screens, played the games, the DLCs. I don't think I'm that far off platinum. The second one, I've got a platinum trophy on the first one. I don't think I'm that far off the platinum on the second one. Like I just love those games. So to step into that environment, yes, people saying what it is. It's climbing simulator, but to me, I love the climb. Like climb is some really fun things to play. If you enjoy climbing, you can get that out of the game.
I get why you would put it on a list. And it was my number 5 right up until it wasn't my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Between I got in the boat and I'm floating down the river as a prisoner, and they're talking to me, and I'm just like, oh wow. Ooh, look at this shiny. And then once that finished, I stopped the game, and there's just nothing calling me back to it.
Yeah.
The mountain is not calling to me. I've been back to it, but the mountain still doesn't call me.
I think what
And that worries me.
I think it plays a lot on people who are into the series as well, because to me, getting to take on these huge things, like the huge robots, even if it's sort of arena-based combat where you move side to side and dodge things, but fighting a Thunderjaw, fighting a Bellowback, and things like that just resonates, because I can remember the horror of taking them on on flat screen. So when you actually see the scale of them ahead in front of you, it just brings a whole new like appreciation for like how big the scales are of things in that game.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of things that I could dislike about that game, like the arena and stuff, but I actually don't. I don't dislike that element of it. I think it's exactly what it needs to be, because you have to remember that Horizon is going to sell headsets. People are going to be like, oh, I love that universe. I want to be there. I want to be inside it. And so they are going to sell headsets based on Horizon. And so it has to be incredibly universal.
Yeah.
That a lot of people are going to play this. This is going to be their first VR experience. We don't need them doing barrel rolls and vomiting out of their shoes. So that absolutely is the exact experience it needs to be. A lot of people complained about the reprojection, and I didn't really see it until I did see it, and now I can't unsee it. So that's a thing. But yeah, it seems like a lot of mini games very carefully stacked together.
Yeah.
And I'm not invested in the storyline enough for that to carry me through the game.
Yeah.
But it's stunning, and it is a game that needs to exist, and I'm glad that it does.
I mean, it's made by number 4. But yeah, there's problems with it, like you said. I think it could have been more if they didn't need to think about its bundle with a headset. It's going to be people's first games.
Yeah.
They have to take that on board. It could have done a lot more than what it does, but to me, it does what it does well. Like even the interaction, like climbing the mountain and be able to nearly push every plant and every plant will move. That's just core for immersion in VR. Is the interaction of stuff.
A lot of great thought has gone into that game, and I don't want to take away from what Gorilla have done. It was Gorilla that did that, right?
No, it was Fire Sprite. Fire Sprite.
Sprite. Okay. I don't want to take away from what they've done. It's fantastic. It's great. Just not for me.
Yeah.
But it was definitely going to be on my top 5. Absolutely, it was. And it's a lot of it is very much like you couldn't do that outside of VR.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but you couldn't, but you could. Like, pretty much on that basis, you could pick any bow and arrow game. Knock. There you go. Right, I can't do that outside of VR.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I can with cars and a football, but I can't do it with bow and arrows. So, yeah. Because of the reprojection and the lack of draw for me, it didn't go on the list.
Yeah, if Bob was pointing out what you said, it's a system seller. If you get a PS5,
it is, absolutely. It's the only bundle I've ever seen for the PSVR that's not like, oh yeah, get this Cradle. The only bundle I've seen.
Yeah.
The only game they're pushing with the headset.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Oh, so that's actually going to be one of my top 5, Mr. Bolt. I'm currently writing the top 5 as we speak. I'm pulling it out of my arse. But yeah, no.
Number 3.
Will that go 2 or 3? 2 or 3? Might go number 2. So I would put another Fisherman's Tale on there.
Yeah.
But I've not played it.
It's good. I don't think it outshines the first because the first was so clever. It's got really clever puzzles, don't get me wrong. But the ideal of first where you look up and you see the big guy and it just continue. It just
that would be the you see, that's one of the things that for me I'm like, I want to put Fisherman's Tale on there because the Fisherman's Tale doesn't exist, so I would say another Fisherman's Tale. But it seems very sort of unique and just something that I would struggle to pull off outside of VR. And so I do very much, it's absolutely. And the thing is, I am a puzzle guy. Like if I own them already, but if I Expect You to Die brings out a 3-pack for the PlayStation, well, I guess I'm buying them again because I totally want to play I Expect You to Die 3. But spoilers, so I give people time to get their own playthrough and then I'm going to play it. So, yeah. But no, that's totally in my top 5. Like I dig the Fisherman's Tale games, and the spoilers is the only reason I've not touched another Fisherman's Tale. And it's very likely that once the number 1 game has seen through its course, which we'll get to that shortly, I will probably go to another Fisherman's Tale.
Yeah. So this is your number 3?
This is my number 3, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you kind of already know the 2 and the 1 at this point, I think.
So my number 3 is a game that I champion a lot. And it's now all 3 parts are out, so it's really a good value for the price. And that is Dyschronia, makes it my number 3.
Right.
I expected this to be higher in my head when I was first making my list. I was like, this is going to be like battling number 1, and then it sort of went down to number 3. But I champion this game. It's a very precise taste. So although it makes my top 3.
I want to see it on PlayStation. I do.
Yeah.
I've only played it on Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should prod the appropriate people.
Yeah. It's just, for those who don't know what it is, it's a visual novel, really, with a bit of detective work in there. But one thing my dearest do is every time the developers of it, every time they release a new game in the Chronos series, it gets more interactive. So the first one was more like a story on Tokyo Chronos. This is on PlayStation. I think it's on PlayStation VR1, but not 2. And then they did Aldeus, and that was on PlayStation VR as well, the first one. That then brought in the same type of thing, but you activate mechs and press buttons in a mech, but it's not very much. And there's just a lot of investigation, a lot of parts to figure out, puzzles to figure out. So I sort of stepped it up. And it comes in 3 episodes, but I think it's like $32.99 for all of them together. And
fair.
About
like £11 each. That's more than fair.
I think it's about 18 hours. I think it took me to play all 3 parts.
Yeah.
They just get better. The investigations get interesting. If you get stuck into the story, that time flies. Like, it really does. But you've got to be prepared for a lot of talking, because it is essentially a visual novel at heart. So if that's not your type of thing, it won't be for you. But for me, it's Madden with Free. Absolutely love it. It's my type of game, really.
Yeah, it's that's where one of the stream quotes for me came from. I foiled you with my knees, because there was sneaky, stealthy parts to it as well. But everybody knows I hate stealthy, but I totally fine with it in that. And it's a story that I do want to get more of, and knowing that it's on a PSVR just makes me want to, prod the right people and try and get a code. So I want to play it big. Good choice.
And number 2.
Number 2 then. So, I mean, you guys kind of already know at this point in time, it'd be more of a guess of what is number 1, and you pretty much know what that is. So, number 2 is Switchback.
Switchback?
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love Switchback. It's the fear I felt playing that. Admittedly, the fear is partly in my head, partly down to jump scares, but it is such a... Many people had a massive problem with Switchback. I mean, talk about the show of controversy and the headset of controversy. Many people had a problem with Switchback, and don't get me wrong, I do not want to dismiss the problems that people had. They were real problems, but they also weren't there. It wasn't the dev's fault. How could you know that like 1 in 4 PlayStations was going to play your game like trash? Just makes no sense. One of the beauty of consoles is everybody has the same hardware, so you can develop to the same specification. So why all of a sudden were there people having problems with it? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand how or why that happens. We already know that not every PSVR is made equal, and apparently not every PlayStation is either. But they did a bunch of stuff to try and tackle that, and they went away, they listened to the community, they came back, and they made changes. So hats off to them for that. But I have always had such a great time in that game. And as crazy as it sounds, and it goes against everything I know, but I'm giving a demo for the PSVR2. And I'm looking through the games. I'm like, here, play this. Oh, wow, the mouse is beautiful. This is brilliant. Yeah, what's that scary looking woman? You don't want to go on that one. No. I don't. Yeah, I do. Come on. No, you don't want to go on. It's scary, and it's a roller coaster, and it's going to make you vomit. And no, you don't want to go on that one. 2 hours later, I'm like, can we turn off the scary lady game now? And they're like, no, I need to play more. I don't get, like, it wasn't just me. They were just absolutely loving playing it. So for something like that to bring that kind of experience to a newbie, just baffles me. Absolutely baffles me. And yeah, I just have such a great experience with that game, and I'm gonna continue to have a great experience with it.
So as someone who I still think Rush of Blood was one of the best PlayStation VR games. So I was like super excited for Switchback. Fortunately, I was one of the people who had the problems, but the work they did, they took it away and did it. I always say I always give kudos to a developer who takes feedback on board and doesn't like get annoyed by it, takes it away, works on it.
Yeah,
we will fix this. Like, it's the first game I can ever say for the VR Realm from the VRrealm.com. I went back and updated my review after playing it after the patch, because to me it made it a whole different game. For me, I think I'd give it unremarkable originally, because I found the issues were a bit, but it didn't seem. I think in my review I basically said originally it felt like a PlayStation 1.5 game. It seemed like it was better than the PlayStation VR, but wasn't good enough for PlayStation VR 2. But now they've brought it in the update, and it felt like a PlayStation VR 2 game. So like, I'm gonna go back and actually update the review on this one. I mean, the gameplay has always been fantastic. I had no issue with the gameplay. It was more just issues inside the presentation side that threw it for me.
That's my thing. That's the thing that, to me, and I know I said that Pistol Whip is like, you know, the my best rhythm game, but I don't want to take anything away from Beat Saber. I came away from Beat Saber with a massive grin on my face, feeling like a freaking Jedi. And it's a fantastic, fun game to play. And that, to me, is what VR has become. A lot of people are like, there's no wow moments anymore. There's no Half-Life Alyx's left. But it doesn't need to be Half-Life Alyx.
No.
To this day, I still get a flutter playing Windlands 2. Not the whole I'm falling, oh crap, I'm going to die flutter. They actually disappeared for me. But there is nothing more fun than, and I've played that first boss a million times, but just swinging through the trees, especially after most likely in my case, death, swinging through the trees towards the final boss platform. The boss is there, and you're just bow and arrow in midair as you turn in and you shoot that boss. That is absolutely a wow moment for me, and I still get it. Like, to this day, I played Windlands 2 on the Quest, and I'm like, that is just so dope, and I can't wait to do it on PSVR. Dear God, if that game was out, that game would be on this list.
I remember going
And it's
to
coming. I know it's coming.
EGX Res was the first place I tried Windlands 2 out on the Oculus CV1, and sat down. I met Zim and Mike and everyone there for the first time, and I went to get food and stuff, and I came back, and they were like doing single player on the, you're going to get more access than what people get in a demo, which I was booked in for later on. So Zim was watching Mike do that, so I just joined the queue to play, and they put me on with 3 people who never played VR before, and I was like, and obviously I'd played the Windlands 1, so I was used to the traversal. And I was at the boss before they'd even made it through like the first tree section, and I thought, I feel rubbish, because the demo ends when the boss is beaten. So I just stood at the boss for ages thinking, I'm going to have to wait for these to catch up.
Wow.
And someone, I think one of the team come over, I think it was Luke, who was a community manager, and he tapped me on the shoulder, lifted the head up, he said, "You've played Windlands before, haven't you?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah." He said, "I'm glad you're waiting and not trying to fight the boss, because he won't see anything." I was like, "I know." I said, he said, "We should have just had you on that one, because you get to play the first and the second part where you've got to go and collect the gems on the extra demo for press people who were there." He said we should just wait and put you on that one, really. I was like, "That's all right, I'll still have a go at that one." I didn't mind sitting around waiting. Once you get the hang of it after the first few areas, you still die, but you get the traversal quite. It's just the first few times where you're just constantly falling.
I thought the first time you played that was with me, but I can't even remember if you were actually there. I don't remember who my. I know I played Windlands with at least one, if not two other people. Thought you were one of them, but obviously the demo was long before what I'm talking about. I'm talking about full release. I thought you were one of the people I played with. I know I
might
played
be.
with Mark. I thought you were the other one.
Me, you, and Marcus only played the dungeon crawler one together.
Oh, wait, okay. So who
Was
was
it
my
Finger
other
Carnage?
Um,
Carnage Chronicles, whatever it was. I think that was the only
yes,
thing.
Carnage Chronicles. That was it, because we were playing and we couldn't get the game to talk between Oculus and Steam.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, we're trying to get into a multiplayer game, and it doesn't work. Check your DMs. And then we had a Steam version each in our DMs. They were very good for that. I'm gonna go on to my own YouTube channel
None that I can think
and
of.
see who I played that with. I was even this YouTube. Did you play with Dr. Oculus, or were you playing with Gaming for Good? I don't know. I'm very curious. But yes, so Switchback.
Switchback, yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm really torn because there's another game that's on the list that I did play with you. Treading New Ground, Windlands 2 co-op gameplay with Tatastic Gamer.
Oh yeah, but it was only me and you. That's probably why I can't remember.
I guess so.
Yeah, it must.
Yeah, I've got a 22, 23 and a 2-hour video.
Yeah, it must. Yeah, it must be. But that's an
So
old
there
name.
we go.
That's an old name.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think you were the first member of the community that I actually played with.
Yeah.
That was Onward, I think.
I think so.
So yes, so back to Switchback. Finally, Switchback for the final time. Switchback is my number 2, and I'm kicking myself because I missed another game that I've not played. So yeah.
So my number 2. Got a feeling might be our number 1. My number 2 is Synapse. It flipped and flopped between 1 and 2, and it settled on 2. But my number 2 is Synapse. Outstanding.
I've been having so much fun, and I've done something that I very rarely do, and I've played it off stream.
Mm-hmm.
I very rarely do that because I think to myself, well, if I'm playing VR, it's content. I may as well stream me playing it. But I found now that whenever I've got like a spare half hour, I'm trying to set a time on that game. I've not beat my 34, 36 minutes for 30, whatever it was. But I have now completed it on medium, and I have unlocked every unlockable. Like I've unlocked all of the powers now. So yeah, that game is absolutely stormy. Don't get me wrong, it's incredibly short. Like there's people in the world that can knock it out in 20 minutes. I can knock it out in 35.
Yeah, but this is on the easy. This is on the easiest setting now.
On easy. And then once you've done it on easy, admittedly, you are playing exactly the same thing, but harder.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could realistically knock the story out in half an hour, which isn't something to scream about.
But you actually get more of the story each level.
Yes, exactly. When you're playing on a harder level, there are more dialogue coming through and them saying, okay, this is a thing, and no spoilers, but this is the thing and this needs to happen, and then this is going to do this so we can do that. So that's all on there, which is great. But so, like I said, my list is all about what is accomplishable in VR.
Yeah.
And that game for me is another one of those tentpole wow VR moments.
Yeah, this just makes you feel like a complete badass. Once you get used to the telekinesis and you unlock the 10 more, like picking people up, and it just becomes. You can become very tactical if you wanted to, like
incredibly.
Yeah.
because I'm trying to do it faster, I found myself running into like cave levels and shooting one guy while I'm throwing another one into the ceiling and breaking their neck to try and get quicker.
Yeah.
I've decided the only way I'm going to win that speedrun contest is by cheating. And by cheating, I mean finding dodgy stuff that gets me through the level quicker. Well, the big problem I'm having is the only way to get through a level is by killing everybody. And there's no fast way of doing that by cheating.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, that's
Like,
basically my number one as well. I'm for 9 more days I'm stuck to that game like a turd to a blanket.
So for me, what made it on put it on my list as well is it's just it seems like End Dreams are another one of these companies that new releases just seem to continuously push the bar of them higher up. It's like I thought Fract was going to be hard to beat. Absolutely love Fract. Like I thought.
Yeah.
And I saw this and I thought, right, I'm not a roguelike player. I normally give up on them, but not this. Every now and then, I'll just put it on. I'm not going to try speedrun because I know I'll get nowhere near.
Me too. And Jimmy said to me, he's just like, just put it on the thing anyway. Just get your name on the list. I was like, I'm just gonna submit one rather than like 20 because I don't want to do 34 then 33.50 next. I'm just gonna do the one. But yeah, so that's my thing. So I'm having a great. The thing is, that game is so fun that I feel the need and the desire to go back to it.
Yeah.
Whereas that's the thing, and that the reason why it's on my list is purely because it's that wow moment that I can't get flat.
Yeah, it wouldn't work flat.
No. The gaze tracking, the telekinesis, the shooting, and just the pure beauty of the art style. I just love being in that world.
Yeah. What actually shocked me is it seemed to have been like quite a divisive game. Like people love it and people hate it. Like I know, for example, I had a big conversation with Gamertag around it on Twitter because he was like, "Oh, you can get it done in 8 hours and you're done. Like there's no reason to go back to it." And I was like, it's just crazy fun. That's the reason to go back to it.
Yeah, that's it. And the thing is, that's the same. You see, you could say exactly the same thing about Switchback. Knock that out in 4-5 hours. Never touch it again.
Same things after the fall. If you don't take to that, you can do the campaign in 3 hours. The idea is keep running.
What's that other game that I was going to mention that I didn't mention to you in any way, shape, or form, but now I'm expecting you to know what it was? Zombieland.
Yeah.
Can knock that out in no time and walk away from it. I actually mildly kind of did. Yeah, you can knock that out super quick. Yeah, Ball's right. You can knock Half-Life out really quick.
Yeah.
So the question is not so much the length of time. It's more just the joy you get from it.
Yeah,
I think
definitely
that brings me joy. Same with the City Skylines, Cities VR. It's not Skylines, is it? Cities VR. I got way more out of that than I thought I would. It was shocking just how good that was to me.
I actually put it in my review of that. It's like that. I know they've made it accessible for everyone. Like you can go in, play a game, and say, "Actually, I want unlimited money. I want everything unlocked. I don't have to worry. I don't want to have to worry about electricity and water levels and stuff." You can turn all that on in the options straight away, or you can go in and play it how it was made to be played. You need to earn money by building your city up to be able to unlock stuff and buy new stuff. Yeah, but they've made it accessible for everyone. And is that a bad thing? To me, no. At first, I thought, why have you done this? Like, people are just automatically going to go on. But you can still have you can have a relaxing time building a city, or you can have a stressful time where you've got to think about your money. And I want to build this new area of buildings, but I don't have enough money even to lay the path yet. I'm going to have to let it run a few days. Fast, well, you can put it in super fast mode in order for it to generate my money for me to do that. But It all depends how you want to play it. And
it does, and I had a great time playing that game, and yeah. So, Synapse for you, what kept it off the top spot?
So number one
Or
from
is it
number one for me, Walkabout Mini Golf. You just get
that?
nothing like that at all. Again, it's something that wouldn't work without VR because the whole enjoyment of it is walking around these courses. There's a lot there already, especially if you buy the hole-in-one edition. It's got every map apart from one, because obviously one's been released since it came out.
Yeah. I will buy that, I swear.
Or maybe two came out, haven't they? Sorry, since it came out. So there's two that you
The
don't get.
Evil Air came out, and was it another one of the
Journey to Center of the Earth?
Yeah.
I don't think that's in there. But again, it's just when I first played it on the Quest, and I bought it when it was on sale on the Quest, not expecting much from it. I think we'd recently played Golf It on PC, me, you, Bol, but Cold has made us that map.
Course, right?
Yeah, but the physics was so off on that game. But Walkabout Mini Golf,
it's a flat screen game, isn't it?
Yeah, Walkabout Mini Golf. I don't know how he's done it. I don't know how the team at Mighty Coconut have got it. The physics are perfect, like for the greens and the how much a ball moves depending on the how you hit it. It just seems like it's got the perfect physics for a golf game.
That's adjustable in Golf It, or Golf with your friends. I can't remember which one it was we played. It's fine, and you can totally get that Walkabout Mini Golf experience flat screen with friends. You see, that's one of the other things that Walkabout Mini Golf, if I take my friends out of the scenario, I'm less likely to play it.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why Demia wouldn't make it on the list for me.
Yeah.
I can't see me playing that game alone. I can barely see me playing it with friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's absolutely. I get why you would put that on there for the time that you've spent on that game and the time you will continue to spend on that game. And the DLC was always reasonably priced.
Yes, I mean it's a bit like Pistol Whip. It's not free, but they're constantly giving you new courses. They haven't just abandoned it and thought, you know what, we'll release a Walkabout Mini Golf 2 so far down the line with new courses. Like they're putting them out. They're reasonably priced. Like you said, I think to me, it's the best social multiplayer VR game. Once you get in there with your friends, and you're just having a laugh between taking shots, looking for balls, doing fox hunts, or even if you've got them, like I said, just going around with friends. It's like, to me, the best social VR game. That isn't obviously a social VR. That isn't made to be a social VR game. It's like your VR chats, your Neos, your things like that. It's like outside of what is a social game, it's probably the best for that social and enjoyment with your friends.
I mean, just the island itself, the Welcome Island.
Yeah.
I've literally jumped into Walkabout Mini Golf and just hung out in the Welcome Island talking with members of the VR community. We didn't even play. Well, no, we did eventually get to playing a course. But yeah, we were just stood on the it's not really a putting practice. It's like a driving range with putters.
Yeah.
We were stood on that driving range just bashing balls into boats and goals and things.
Yeah.
Just talking. And that is something that is, that's always going to live rent free in my brain. I don't spend enough time with you, and I should do that more. Sorry.
Yeah.
They know who they are. They're never going to hear this, so it's fine. Yeah. So I should totally do that more. There's so many games that if I, so the Room VR. Honorable mention goes to that. That's something that I don't think you can do outside of VR. Yeah. Not in this. Maybe you could, but the Room VR is one of my favorite games. That's a PSVR2 game. If you don't own another headset, totally do it. Tetris Effect, you can get that flat screen. It's fine, but it's still magical in VR. Honorable mention to that one as well.
Yeah.
I would have loved to also. So, say you're right, you stole my number one. If I have to swap it, I'm putting in the Last Clockwinder.
Mm-hmm. That's one I've not played.
That's such a great mechanic, being able to basically record a macro and then bugger off and leave that doing a thing so you can puzzle it out.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna. I'm always gonna go for the games with brains than the one that's pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna pick that more than a shooter game. I am.
Yeah.
I always will.
See, so I had a couple of honorable mentions, and one was going to be Switchback, which you've talked about.
Yeah.
Now,
The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
I haven't played anywhere near as enough of those for me to put them on a list, but I recognize that they are iconic games and that they deserve to be recognized. Absolutely, they do.
Tale of Onagoro. Again, that's outstanding, but I think it's for a set audience. A bit like Discronia. I think it's for a set audience, but it's outstanding.
I own it. I haven't played it.
So
maybe I will. I mean, give me homework and I'll do it, folks.
The Last Worker. A lot of people didn't really like that.
I never played it. I got chatting with the press person and then chat kind of fizzled out, and so I never ended up really covering it. But I'm not against it.
There's a lot that can fall in there. Really. Like
I was going to put Sea Smash on my list.
Sea Smash.
Because it's basically the Racket XR, Racket NX of the PSVR2.
Yeah.
I love Racket NX, and that game works really, really well. Sea Smash, I played the demo of it. Absolutely loved the demo. I'm just scared of breaking my new controllers.
Music is fantastic on it.
In this room.
We've already talked about Humanity was just like I said, that only just never got in my top 5. There's a lot. We mentioned upgrading Thumper. Thumper's honorable mention. It's an old one, but damn, it's good.
The Before Your Eyes is absolutely. It's a short one-off experience, which is why I wouldn't put it on my list. But that, as a PSVR game, the way they use the eye tracking to demonstrate what I'm assuming is the fragility of time and life is brilliant. Incredibly frustrating for the guy who wants to listen to all of the storyline. And then I accidentally blinked and then they stopped mid-sentence and fucked off to the next thing. I was like, no, give me that back. And then I blink again, getting angry. Great game. Couldn't bring myself to do it a second time, but it's a wonderful experience.
I think my main issue with that one was when you didn't matter if you blinked, I wouldn't. But as soon as it came up with you're not allowed to blink, my eyes was like, you're not telling me what to do. I'm going to blink. I've just sat through a few minutes not blinking, watching this thing, and then as soon as it pops up, you can't blink. I'm like, okay, I'm going to blink. You're like, no.
Yeah. So it led to a lot of frustration for me, but then that frustration is essentially the point.
Yeah.
Of the game. It's just like, cherish the moments that you have because you're gonna blink and they're gone.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what they were aiming for.
Yeah.
And sorry, Mr. Ball, the code I gave you is not VR. That's the thing. There's so many games. I could go on for another 2 hours. I really could. I mean, Hubris looks stunning in the PSVR.
Yeah.
Kayak Mirage.
You've heard it all the way through this top 5 as both of us have referred to. This one just didn't make it in. So it shows how many good games there are, because there were so many that just didn't make it in. It wasn't like when I first messaged on and said maybe we should do this, blah blah. I thought it's going to be so simple this, and it took me hours to because I was like, take this out. I can't take that out, but I'm going to have to. No, I can't, and it just kept taking stuff out, putting stuff in, taking stuff out.
Yeah.
It just became a crazy.
The point is, if you sit me down with any gamer at all on a PSVR2, I can tell you a game they should play and they will have a great time.
Yeah.
There is not that much of a shortage of content. There's just that much of a shortage for that narrow-minded dickhead.
I think you'll see from this conversation is there's a lot. I think the main problem is as well is for where VR is at the moment, people reading that who are thinking about VR are probably going to side against it.
Which I also get. It's a lot of money. It's a big spend. It's a big ask. And ultimately, a lot of people, they finish their day job and they just want to go.
Yeah.
They just want to play Call of Duty or whatever the fuck it is they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that VR requires a little bit more than just... And that's fine. It's not for you. It's just whatever. VR gives me energy. So it's one of them things. But stop me before I never stop, Mr. Paul. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Any questions from the audience, yeah. So yeah, I think we've sort of summed it all up in over an hour. There is content. There's a lot of content. Either way, if you don't have VR, if you've never played VR before, the library is exceptional. If you have played the games before, doesn't mean they're not worth trying on PlayStation. A lot of the things I've played on PlayStation, I think this is how I want to play them. For example, After the Fall, the amount of hours I've put in on PC on that, and then I decided I want to put I've basically added myself as a friend between the two versions. Logged in on the PC, got in the same room, dropped my weapons, picked them up.
Giving yourself your guns.
Played the way through the end. So I kept them, and then went back in the PC version, got the next guns, and just transferred my guns over to the PlayStation version. So at least I can run the harder levels and stuff without needing to think about unlocking it all again. But then on my last stream when I put After the Fall on, I made the biggest mistake ever, thinking I'd load the money on PC, but I didn't. There was that poor little kid. I'll give away my machine gun with all the upgrades, thinking I can go and rebuy it on PC and just drop it off in the PlayStation. When on the PC, I had less money on the PC version because I forgot I'd been running Nightmare runs, so all your boosters and stuff for thousands of harvest. Yeah.
If you want to carry me on the PC, I will jump in with you every now and again.
I'll be well happy. So we've got...
I'm fine with it.
So we've got Why is Paul virtual and Docker meatbag?
Have you ever seen Paul? Mm-hmm. This is how Paul looks in real life. I can confirm.
Yep. Just like this. Just a shaven version. I'm like one of those Sphinx cats. In real life.
We did talk. So in the very early days, there was talk of me updating my avatar. So I was either the little mini me that I 3D print, because it is possible to get a T-pose of that. So I was either going to be that in VR, or I was going to actually make a decent avatar and go into Neos, and I was going to be virtual as well. But that was a barrier of entry for devs and guests and stuff. And Paul made the call of no, we should probably just stick to that, and I can use this. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I'm a meatbag and he's a sexy foxy sausage.
Yeah. So yeah, I did call that when I asked Doc to come and course, and I said I've tried to get devs on, and it's like you said, it's barrier of entry. Some people don't want to download it and mess about trying to get used to it. I mean, Jimmy had the patience of a saint when he was on it because his PC just didn't like Neos, and I think we went on to a second day trying to get him on because it just kept kicking him out.
We should probably get Jimmy back.
Yeah, definitely need to get Jimmy back
very, very, very soon.
Last time I spoke to him, it was just after Fractured come out on the show, so plenty to talk about. Trying to get him to talk about
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, which he wouldn't.
So yeah, we should definitely get Jimmy back soon. As far as the next question, then, when are we playing the Russian roulette multiplayer game?
I'm happy to play that whenever. I think we need to have a secondary backup plan as well, because I know like I gifted everyone it to play because it was like £1 something on Steam, but I don't think it's going to be a very long. I mean, if people want to stream it, I don't think it'll be very long. I don't think we'll get good 2 hours out of it.
Walkabout. There we go. There's a backup plan. Yeah. Paul, do you like Lego?
I don't mind it.
That's a no.
I don't mind it. It's not something. It's something I'd like buy every now and then, but it's not something I'd actively buy. I normally just buy them and then put them on the shelf, and then I'll knock them off and they'll break, and I'll just be, oh bollocks it, just put it back in a box and then don't sort it again.
When are we doing Windlands 2 in a multiplayer event? Whenever, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm happy to be in Windlands whenever. I don't know how many times I've actually. Don't know how many things I've actually played of that. How many times I've actually played through Windlands, but I'll happily play through it again. I absolutely love Windlands 2.
I've played Windlands about 4 times, and I've never seen past like the third boss. If I ever seen past the third boss, I died on the way up there, and somebody told me it was dead on the way down. Kind of thing. Like I've seen the first thing, and then there's one inside of a cave that shoots stuff at you, and then there's a giant worm, and that's all I remember from Windlands. So yeah, I will totally play Windlands 2 again and again and again. Ball is just literally just flooding us with questions now. He's going to keep us going past 10. The next question from Paul. I would say blink, but you can't actually blink, right? On command?
No.
Yeah, so how many people are you responsible for killing in real life?
0 at the moment.
So for the FBI agent that's listening, it's 0.
This is my response to Balls. All these random question Balls asking.
What flavor cake is your favorite? Carrot, I suppose, is going to be mine.
Coffee and walnut.
So Paul says carrot as well.
Coffee,
so send us cake.
Coffee and walnut.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there's some what the fudges. Wait, what? What did you what? Where's the chocolate? Chocolate cake is so dry and boring though. Like if you can get me a good moist cake that's chocolate, okay, fair enough, but chocolate cake for me just brings back memories of dry, boring cake. Whereas like the thing is I say carrot as like a gun to the head, pull it out of your ass kind of answer. Whereas in reality, that's probably not the answer. But I just have the most fond memories of eating what they referred to in Asda as a tray bake, was just like a very large foil tray of carrot cake and then the icing on top. And I could just take down an entire one of those and be like, diabetes, take me. And yeah, that's how I got my 5 a day, was by eating the carrot cake.
Terry's chocolate.
Whereas chocolate just... My mother always used to make chocolate cake when I was a kid, and it just reminds me of burnt, dry, crappy cake. It's not. I've had some nice chocolate fudge cakes that were warm with ice cream and stuff, and they're great. But yeah, if I'm sat there with a menu, I'm gonna go for your carrot cake, maybe a red velvet if that's not available.
And I think this is
you
it.
can get me talking about cake all day.
Well, you will judge me too harshly.
I plead the fifth on that one. I am not responding to your pizza question. I recognize your bait, Mr. Ball, and I decline.
So,
Margarita. It's a blank canvas. There you go.
maybe I should find someone to raid. I was just about to say we're done by. I better actually find someone to raid and do a pop outro. So yes, I'm waving in real life for some reason. Thank you for everyone who's joined. To sum up at the main point of the show, again, there's not a lack of games on PlayStation. You've just got to give it a chance.
It's alive and well.
Yes. And there's not people known online to raid. Was Ninja's playing Fortnite.
I've got somebody playing Boombox.
Boombox, what they're called.
Tropical Flower VR.
Oh, she's actually on my live channels we think you like at the moment. Doesn't that work well?
Yeah, it's lovely. So thank you everybody for joining us once again in another trip to the VRverse.
Yep. We will be back next month. We will discuss.
God knows what we'll be talking about then. Probably the upcoming Quest 3.
Depending on what comes
out.
out.
Meta Connect is next month, right?
Yeah. Most likely so. Yeah, we will be back next month at some point. Percent if I'm going to start a raid, shouldn't I? So yeah, thank you for everyone who's joined. Thank you, Doc, for the bit at the beginning. Wobo for the resub. Greatly appreciated. Celery Man, thank you for following me yesterday while I was offline. I know you popped in earlier. Thank you very much. And until next month, I will be back tomorrow anyway at some point with a stream. I'm sure Doc probably will be as well. We'll likely raid him because I will be streaming just before him.
Let's face it, I'm going to be playing Synapse.
Thank you for the bit, Ball, and let's get this raid going. Until next month, bye for now. Right.
You know we're still live, right?
Yeah.